And back behind those horses, I Am Unstoppable. Osmosis at the clock tower, led by a length to Shinzo, Arkansas Kid, and I Am Unstoppable is running on. The leader, Osmosis, with 50 metres to go. Osmosis is clear and will take it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Quaddie Poddy. Cashy, joined by Nick. How are you, mate?
Good, man. Looking forward to a good weekend of racing. It's going to be awesome. I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm pumped. I'm a big Golden Slipper Day guy. The last couple of years, it hasn't been for the slipper personally. Just everything else. Like, you can't complain with 5 Group 1s at a track all in one day. Yes, this year, a few of the fields have been, diminished by the fact that everyone's scared off by the short favourites, but still, there's going to be some really good racing. There's going to be some really good horses. I can't complain as the racing nuffy that I am.
Yeah, it should be good, man. I'm looking forward to it. I won't be at the track personally, unfortunately, which is a surprise when I don't have a trial match this weekend. But anyway, you'll be there, which will be good.
Yes, I haven't missed a slipper day, I want to say in 4 or so years. I was there when, let's just say I was there when like Lindemann and Osipenko were going neck and neck down the line in the, or not Osipenko, Pericles was going down the line in the Rosehill Guineas, and Animo was still going around. So I think, that'd be about 4 years ago. Yeah. So I'm a big slipper day guy. Like I said, the slipper the last couple of years hasn't really been the best race, but I mean, everyone knows here, I'm a proper racing nuff. Like, I could go to a track and not have a single bet. I like it for the sport aspect of racing. And I think this, above all other days on the racing calendar, other than maybe a Derby Day, Golden Eagle Day-esque type day, has so much quality jam-packed onto one day. You've got so many good horses jam-packed onto the card. I love it each and every year. It always delivers.
Yeah, it's definitely a good day. Definitely not a great race for the slipper, but everything around it is very good. It's pretty much second race onwards. You've got horses that we love and we've been backing a lot of its careers. So even race 1, we've got a couple that we usually for midways we get around as well.
That was always the case. Like, again, I go back to a few years ago when, like, where else could you see like Very Elegant, Animo, Nature Strip, Fangirl all going around on like the same sort of card? It's one of, if not the best day of racing in the country. So I'm always really excited to unpack the card, and we typically bet well on Golden Slipper Day because the cream rises to the top, and we've had a couple of skinny weeks the last few weeks. I think we've only been averaging 3 winners a week for the last 3 weeks, so we definitely need to bounce back in a big way. But I'm confident that we can get it done. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be on most of the same horses because, like you said, so many of the mock favourites going around on Saturday.
Yeah, there's going to be a few multi-plays this weekend, I'm sure. So double is where we're going to put all of them up. We might quote a few on the pod, but most of them are going to be on double. So go check out the ones that we have put on. If you're not on double, use code MOCSports on double to let them know that we sent you. And yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of multi-plays, place multis on the nose, a couple of different horses. We're going to play into a couple of different horses because obviously there are some short price horses in these fields, which we will talk about in a little bit. But no, it's a great day of racing. I'm really looking forward to it. I won't be there, but I'll be watching very, very closely on Saturday. Yeah,
there will be a lot of multi-plays, and again, they're not like lock multis either, but they're great opportunities to bet into. I know that like traditional punters will tell you stay away from the multis, and like I also will say don't be loading multis because what's the point when you're getting those inflated odds? You only need to be putting 10, 20 bucks max on them. It boggles my mind when I see people putting up slips of multis that they've put hundreds and hundreds on like a $25 horse multi when so many things can go wrong. Like, if you got $25 odds, you only need a 10 or a 20 to be really cashing out. So yeah, there's going to be a lot on double there. Like Nick said, code MOCSports. The link is also in our show notes. If you want to get around that, make sure to gamble responsibly and think about what you could be buying instead if you do so. But I mean, before we get into it, mate, let's just quickly touch on a couple of things last week. First and foremost, loyalty pays.
Yeah.
Vauban.
Yeah, I think it was always set up for that one. Didn't really race anyone. Was pretty happy with it. Got crunched in a little bit as well.
It did, yes.
Went into $3 or so, I think, or $4, and we got at the pot at 7-ish, 6.57, I think. But yeah, loyalty pays off, mate, and I'm hoping some other loyalty cards will pay off a little bit later.
Ominous. Long-time pod listeners know exactly what's coming. Nick and I are going to punch on midway through the pod. And then, I mean, like we said last week, very dead week of racing. We've only got a couple other things to touch on. Buckaroo being one of them.
Yeah, we had an off-air discussion on Saturday about this. You were very passionate, and I might have brought you back to earth a little bit. I thought...
I'm going to bring the board out just in case we settle on.
Look, I thought it was a disappointing run. I did. I don't think it's warranted for Fraud Watch.
Well, I think he's almost come last.
I just don't think he looked in it at all, really, to be honest. I think horses can have bad runs. If you want to put him on, mate, by all means.
Like I think,
but I still think he has exceeded every expectation for this autumn in terms of the way he's gone. The only argument I can really see is he's probably jumping up to that distance where we think he can strike at his best, and he didn't deliver. But he's almost pipped him some good Group 1s in autumn.
Almost. Like that. I think that's the case with Buckaroo now. Almost. It sums up his career. The last time he won a race was in spring of 2024. Ever since then, it's been almost. Like,
yeah, but I'd honestly say at least 50%, if not more, of his races are warm-ups.
But then he hasn't won on grand final day. Because he keeps going to keeps going to Melbourne Cup, which we know by now he can't run the distance.
Was that his grand final though?
No, Australia Cup's meant to be his grand final. But
look, if you want to put him on, we can ride him on. But I wouldn't be. You wanted me to ride it on Saturday. I wanted to have a chat about it. I personally think I would leave him off, but
let's just say here, so he won that Underwood Stakes in 2024. He's since gone second in a Turnbull, second in a Caulfield Cup, a bunch of nothing finishes because he was in the Melbourne Cup, and we know he can't run that, and then races that were short of his best. Then he got 7th in a Queen Elizabeth behind Via Sistina, 10th in a Hollandale up in Queensland that he should have pissed in. He was short favourite there as well. 3rd in a Memsey, of course, classic, flashing late behind a Mr. Brightside Treasure. Everyone's like, oh my God, Buckaroo's back. And then follows that up with another flashing 2nd in an Underwood behind Sir Delius. Oh my God, he's going to piss in the Might and Power. Globe beats him in the Might and Power. And then he's going to, run well in a Cox Plate. Did so, got beaten a lip by Via Sistina. Oh, he's a moral for the Melbourne Cup. We find out he can't run the Melbourne Cup distance. And now he comes back, flashes behind in the Futurity, and then, he's going to piss in. Again, fails to piss in.
My thing with that is we need... Why has Fangirl not been on there? I know Fangirl's won some races, but Fangirl's fallen behind a lot of horses. And
didn't we put her on late in the spring? Because I know we wiped it
I think that would have killed you, mate.
I could have sworn we
Eliana was
Eliana
on
has been on there, yes.
But it's the same. If she doesn't win this weekend, does she on the fraud board? It's the same thing.
I argue it depends. So if Buckaroo had gone down narrowly, I wouldn't be saying call for...
Write him down, mate. Go on. You're so passionate.
I just think the fact that he was widely considered that he was going to win with a leg in the air, and he didn't even come anywhere close to the finish. And I know that there's probably health excuses because he got scratched the week before for health reasons, and then, the owners said that those health reasons weren't that bad, but maybe there's something more at play. So, maybe there are excuses there. There we go. He's on the fraud watch. He's not a fraud yet, but he's on fraud watch. But I don't know. Something about this horse, how he continually sucks us in and then doesn't deliver, has me thinking he's definitely got to be on fraud watch. And if he's not winning again soon, we might have to cross him off.
Okay.
And as soon as we do, it'll be like a cheer wolf. As soon as we cross him off, then he will win.
Mm-hmm.
But the only other thing to touch on is... Lazura, of course, as soon as I jump off her, she gets that Group 1 that J-Mac was adamant she was going to get. And now J-Mac is in a prime position to go for the record this weekend.
Which he will hit.
He
this
needs
weekend.
1 to tie, 2 to break Damien Oliver's record. He rides Aliana, Autumn Glow, Autumn Boy, Fireball, and Generosity. You're confident that he breaks the record?
Well, Autumn Glow's his tie. It'll be interesting to see if he gets one early, and Autumn Glow will be the one to get above. Eliana's probably the big one. I think that he thinks is the one that he can win, but I think it's going to be a bit harder than everyone really reckons. I think Sir Delius could be back into his best.
Both no morals, despite being very short.
Autumn Glow's the only one that he's going to tie it this weekend. That's put your house on that. But
yeah, I'd be shocked if he's not coming out with at least one of them.
Well, he will. Like, Autumn Glow is not losing.
Yeah, I think she has to fall over, or they have to ride a box
We are
around
past
her.
the point where if anyone grills me for someone saying Autumn Glow is not going to lose, it's like no one can think that Autumn Glow is going to get pipped.
They've got to knock her over or box her the hell in.
That's the only way, is if some tomfoolery goes on.
Some shenanigans.
Yes.
Some absolute horseplay, might some say.
But yeah, it could be. Eliana's probably the best one. Like I said, Autumn Boy's another good chance, but Observer's there as well. Then you obviously Fireball, showing if Fireball can get back at his best, can win as well. And then you've got what's he running later on?
Generosity in the
Generosity.
Galaxy.
I don't see that happening.
Great chance, but terrible barrier.
So we'll see. I wouldn't look. I think I'd be surprised if he doesn't get it. In saying that, I will be tipping against it, but I do. Yeah.
Yeah, he should be tying. I think the big thing will be if he can break it, and if Aliana or Autumn Boy gets up. Oh wait, no, sorry. So Autumn Boy and Aliana come before Autumn Glow. So if either of those get up beforehand, it's going to be all eyes on that George Ryder. And then I really hope they have something big planned. Racing just always shoots themselves in the foot when it comes to these big moments by not actually planning significant things. I go back to, I could cite many times where they've had a layup when like a big horse has been having their final run, or a jockey's been going for a significant milestone and they've done absolute F all. But I believe they do have something planned. I just don't know what it is. But they've got to do something, surely. Like, it's a big thing. Like, it's never going to get broken again, because J-Mac is going to just keep winning Group 1s for fun, and he's going to extend this record by the time he's retired by just a unfathomable amount. So this is the last time we're seeing this record get broken. So I really do hope that they have planned something for him.
It's really early to say that, really. It's someone might come along and be another generational talent.
Yeah, but
you just hear that so often, like, no one's ever going to get, no one's going to beat AJ's record in the NRL. People are always saying stuff like that. Like, it's gonna get broken.
That can happen, because that's a different game. Like, racing is a very, very hard game, especially considering the amount of Group 1s are probably going to get reduced per year. Let's just see, how old is J-Mac? J-Mac is currently, he's 34.
Yeah.
So if he wanted to, he could ride it at least for another 10 years. Probably doesn't, because he probably doesn't need to. But, like, let's just say he rides for another 10 years. He has so far won, 127? Because he's going for 128 this week, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Group 1 wins. Let's do the math here quickly. Okay. He has, I believe 128. Sorry. And he's going for 130, I believe. I don't want to get this wrong, because a lot of people hate when I get this wrong. Yeah, it's 128. Okay. And he made his debut at the age of, I would assume it was young, because, I mean, they all debut young. J-Mac debut age. All research I could have done before the pod, by the way. Sorry. But let's just find it. Okay. Debut at age 15. That's ridiculous. So in 19 years, he's rode 128. 128 divided by 19. He rides on average 6.7 Group 1 wins a year. Okay? So let's just say he rides another 10 years and he goes at that average again. That's another 60. So he's going to be close to 200 Group 1s by the time he retires, if he rides at this clip still. And we know that, like, that's an average. These days, he's riding more than 6 a year. So I can't see any jockey getting close to 200 Group 1s in a career, considering, like, where the rest of them are at, you know? Like, the rest of them, he's so far in front of every other jockey, it's not even funny. Like, who else is going to come along and do that?
Let me get some of my own research up. How many of these Group 1s have been prior to him being 27 years old, you reckon? Because I reckon in the last 5 years alone, he's riding at least 10 to 15 Group 1 winners a year because he's on great horses at his age. Whereas if someone like if someone like Zach Lloyd can dish up and get, how old Zach Lloyd? 22?
Yeah, he's younger than us, or he's our age.
If Zach Lloyd's on, I think he's on 3 Group 1s right now. If he somehow can get to 15 by the age he's 27, and then J-Mac's gone and he's the top jockey of the time, because there's not really too many other jockeys that are in that middle age range that are getting all these favourites. Who's to say Zach Lloyd can't get 15 a year and ride all the good horses and then pip it? Like, it's like, I'm curious to see how many J-Mac had in his early career, because at the moment he's riding at least 11 or 12 Group 1s a year. So that's well above his average right now. I'm just wondering how many he's had.
If I've just counted correctly, he had 39 of those Group 1s prior to 2020. So when we came into the fold, and we only know J-Mac as this all-conquering beast, before the last 6 years, I believe if I've just counted correctly, he only had just under 40 of them.
Does that not...
So he's won almost 90 in the last 5 years.
Yeah. And
fuck, that's crazy.
That is crazy. But in saying that as well...
6 years, sorry.
He's a great jockey. I'm not taking anything off him. I'm just saying I don't think this record can be unbroken. Like, I just hate when people say that about all records and stuff. It's like, it can be done. In the last 6 years, he's run 90, which is insane. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it shows it's possible.
Yeah, when you put it like that, that's a good point.
It's like Zach Lloyd, who's a great jockey. Who knows what he could be? Or like someone coming through could be insane.
Yeah.
If they can get on the same horses that J-Mac's on in 15, 20 years, I think it'll get broken eventually. It also depends. J-Mac might have enough money. He does probably have enough money to retire whenever he wants. He might stop soon if he wanted to.
My theory has been for the last few years, his Group 1 output is going to decrease purely because I think now that he's going to break this record, he's going to go Hong Kong full time. I think that's the only thing that's been keeping him in Australia, is being able to ride all these amazing horses for Waller, and the fact that he needs to break Damien Oliver's record, and he can only do that in Australia purely because there's a Group 1 every week here during carnival time, whereas in Hong Kong they're more spaced out. So I have always had this theory that in the next couple of years, him and Purton are going to switch. Purton's going to come home, and J-Mac's going to go there full time, and he's going to do a Purton, he's going to do a Bowman, he's only going to fly in for the peak carnival days, for the Cup days, for the Golden Eagle days, for the Derbies, for the Cox Plates, the Everests, etc., etc. So that's why I feel like maybe he won't get to 200, but who knows with how he goes.
And I've just read here from the good old ChatGPT, top jockeys like J-Mac typically win 35 to 50% of Group 1s if they are on favourites as well.
Yeah, because, I mean, that's about, on average, how many favourites win.
Yep. So what I'm trying, like, if Zach Lloyd gets to the stage...
Where he's only on the favourites.
Where he's Well, you got to get to that stage as well.
Yeah.
You got to be a top jockey.
Yeah.
And J-Mac's written his resume for that.
Yeah.
But I think it's possible.
Look, okay, you've convinced me. I say it's possible. I don't think it happens, but
it's
possible.
unlikely. It's unlikely, but I just don't. I hate when we go with records, and we go, it'll never happen again.
Records are meant to be broken. As
Like
they say.
they always will. They always will. Eventually, it might take a long time, but it's not gonna go forever with unbroken.
It's fair enough. Sound off in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. I want to know what you feel. I hope you enjoyed that debate as well. That went for a while, but it was a good chat, good debate, I think. Because can J-Mac's record be broken? And also, I want you to comment how many Group 1s you think he retires with. Do you think he retires with over 200? Do you think he retires before then? Or, just comment. Do you think it'll be broken? And how many Group 1s is he going to retire with?
I think as well, if J-Mac wasn't coming through when Damien Oliver broke the record, if J-Mac wasn't in the picture, everyone would say the same thing. No one's breaking Damien Oliver's record.
Fair. Yeah,
but because he was already, J-Mac was on the scene and everyone can see he's going to overtake him, it's the same thing. It depends where he finishes, but like you said, he's probably going to go to Hong Kong.
Yeah, it's fair. All right, let's quickly get into the hotline. There's only one, and this is from Cello Laguna. He wanted to call up and give his thoughts on that the punishment. Okay, like we discussed it last week, sitting at a pub for a certain amount of time, and you've got to do some sort of betting challenge, whether it's win a certain amount in a row, win a certain amount total, turn over a total amount of money. Every bet you win takes an hour off, whatever it be. This is his thoughts on it.
Boys, this should be probably on the hotline, but I thought I'd just send it via DM in regards to the punishment for the tip-off this autumn. And you're down the right track with staying at a pub until you get like 10 winners right or something. But I believe the way it should work is you have to go to a pub from the minute it opens to the minute it closes, and every bet you win takes an hour off of your time. So if you don't win any, you're there from 10 a.m. till 3 a.m. Or, if you win 5, so on and so forth. Every bet you win takes 1 hour or even half an hour if you want to make it a bit more of a punishment off of your time, but you're there from the minute it opens to the minute it closes otherwise. Cheers, boys.
Unreal. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think, I look at it right, and I think that with the rules like that, I think that's a good idea. And I like the sound of it because it's got to be a punishment as well. And I don't like the sound of it because I don't want to do it.
I think, though, that it'd have to be half an hour off because
you can bet on
that's what I'm saying.
10 races more.
You'd be going next up, so there's 100 races a day in every track. Plus, if you're somehow still going when dogs hit, you should be if it's an hour, you should be out of there pretty quickly because you'd find some $1.10 red rugs going around. So I think half an hour would probably be the go there, which means 10 a.m. to 3 a.m. That's 17 hours. Which means if you want to get out of there in an hour, you have to hit 34 bets, which obviously isn't possible in an hour, but that's the ideal. You'd be probably aiming for 20 bets to get you out of there by dinner time.
Yeah.
Say.
I think we should do that, and then we should also have a thing where it's if you back 5 favorites in a row or something, you get a punishment and add time on or something, just so it's you can't just sit there and back favorites.
You've also
or
got to
if you back a $10 or above horse,
you get extra time off.
You get extra time.
You can get an hour if you get a roughie.
Yeah.
Back a roughie.
If
you
get over $20, you can get. If you get over $40, you're out. Stuff like that, because I think incentive for the good punting, because otherwise,
for every $1 the horse is paying, you get a minute off.
That would suck.
Yeah.
How many minutes would you
I like that though. We'll go, there's a certain amount of pricing, the time you get off. So So it actually incentivizes you to try and find winners rather than just trying to hope that favourites win all day.
Yeah, I'd say probably not from time opening, only because we'll go from whenever the first race of the day is. Because when you can start punting, otherwise you're going to be sitting there for 3 hours waiting for the races to start.
That's fair. That's fair.
I like that. Yeah, but come on. I reckon we'll let's do that. Let's lock that in, and we'll get some finer details out in terms
those price rules.
in terms of the price rules. We'll get back to you on that. But what I'm thinking is you can't back, I reckon, 3 favourites in a row. You can't back more than 3 favourites in a row. If you back a horse over $10, you get a certain amount of time off. If you back 20 over, if you back over 40, you're out. Because how many? I reckon we back one horse a year over $40.
Yeah, I like that.
So, yep.
Yeah, okay. Let's workshop it.
Or like trifectas, if you can get a trifecta.
Nah, it's just got to be on the nose.
You reckon?
It's got to be on the nose. Let's just keep it simple.
Unbox trifecta.
You got to hit an unboxed first 4 straight. Alrighty, hit us with the listener questions.
I know a couple of them are very funny this week. Let me get them up. 3 questions about, are we storming the track when J-Mac breaks the Group 1 record? You will probably get killed by the horses. I think.
Say yes. As all administrators say, oh, you can't storm the track, but storm the track. No. Don't.
Do not do that.
Don't
you will
do
get
that.
life banned from ATC. You will probably get injured.
It's also not funny. Like, funny in an AFL context, funny in an NRL context, funny in a soccer context. Running out there when there's still like horses on the track and like it's just
so
dumb.
dumb.
That's just
so
dumb. And everyone in the crowd, if you're going, guys, let's go, follow me, come on, everyone's going to just boo you and heckle you and say you're a fucking idiot.
It's so stupid. Let's do it.
What I think though is the thing that they should have planned is ATC should shout the bar for a certain amount of time.
Okay, mate. You reckon they're going to do that? No way they're going to do that.
Someone should shout the bar.
There is no way that ATC would do that.
They're doing a 70-cent drink for the 70 years of the Golden Slipper. So if they can do that, they can do like a $1 drink special. Make it $1.28.
What's the 70-cent drink?
You just can buy a drink for 70 cents.
Or drink
if you scan your members card.
Oh, 1 drink.
Yeah, 1 drink. After the Slippers run, you can go up to the bar and scan your members card and it'll give you a discount down to 70 cents.
Yeah. I guarantee you they will not do free drinks at all. I think it's a good idea, but I guarantee you the ATC does not want to do that.
One can dream. One can dream.
Why is the GOAT Private Harry not trying to retain Galaxy Crown?
Clearly hasn't come back.
Yep.
Even from the spring.
Yep. Corey Thompson, is Ella Chance the worst horse ever fraud-board the shitter? I don't think
Bro hates that horse.
Yeah. I don't think it deserves to be on there. I don't think
it's got to be a good horse before.
Yeah, we can be putting midway horses and stuff up if we want. But
this time last year, Ella Chance would have been fraud board worthy, but these days it's a different horse.
And Treasure to the Moment's chances of getting up this weekend.
Yeah, that's the one thing I wanted to talk to you about is Treasure. Are you backing her? Can you even trust her? $1.65 she goes around. I'm staying far away from her personally.
She might make a way into one of my multis. She's going back to our stomping grounds of destroying no ones. I think she'll probably win. She does well when there's earlier in her career when she was dominating. It was against not many people in the field kind of thing. So
I wouldn't have her as an anchor leg though. In multis.
I'd be
maybe chuck her in 1 or 2.
I'd be putting her in a multi with the Autumn Glow and stuff, and I'll be playing it for sure.
But you're very much so opening yourself up to being Boston Rocked by Treasure at the moment if you're using her as an anchor.
I wouldn't put Boston Rock was paying like $5 that day, wasn't it? $4.
Yeah, but I'm talking about how you go all in on one horse and then it can ruin your day if it.
I'd have a couple multis, some with her and some without.
Yeah,
but that's just me personally. All right, mate.
Alrighty, Rosehill rundown time. Look, the track, it's an interesting one. It's a good 4 currently, but it's pissing down in Sydney at the moment. There's rain predicted from now all the way up until the race. So we could be dished up anything. You need horses that are versatile. I've guessed for about a soft 6. Could be a soft 7, could be a soft 5, but I don't think will be good 4 on the day. I don't see us getting into the heavy range, but you never really know with these Sydney Autumns. But we should be somewhat in the soggy territory. The track's also out 2 metres, the rail there. Traditionally, it's out 3 metres on Golden Slipper Day. So take with that what you will if you think that metre is going to make a big difference. Race 1, 1,500 metre midway, benchmark 72 here. Tough race. Few interesting horses in this one, including Dusty Bay Nick, last seen in the Randwick Guineas, and before that was also in a race with Tempted. So interesting form, but is that really form when it was 17 lengths off the finish in the Guineas and 6 lengths off Tempted? I mean, not great, but it's something. So I'll be wary of it, but I've settled with Tenderize. Ideally drawn, should find the fence, and the back of the leaders should be able to save some energy there for the late run home. Nice price in a wide open field, $11 to win, $3.40 a place each way for me in the first.
Starting with a roughie for me, mate. Kingston Charm.
I like that. I almost went that horse. I'm glad that you've covered it.
$15 round about that. Just going to like the ground the most out of the field, I think. And I'm happy with it at that price. Vegeta was one that I probably would have stuck with if it was a dry day, but Kingston Charm is what I'm going to settle with for race number 1, purely based on the conditions.
Lovely.
Move to race number 2, mate. Simple as simple can be. I think Jujukibo goes one better again. Can win. I think Campbell-Dino, a bit annoying that I hopped off after was on him first up, and then he came out and won. But I think Jujukibo was ran pretty soundly, and I think will be peaking for this one. Does well. I think about $4 can get it done.
Yeah, gets fitter and fitter with every run, gets better and better with every jump in distance. Jujukibo for me as well. Big telling point again this race for the Sydney Cup. But yeah, I think Jujukibo is the one that should just settle, top of the midfield, up on pace, and then be the strongest late home. As we move to race 3 there, the Group 3 Epona Stakes at 1,900. Solid race this. A lot of speed in this one, which says to me that there will likely be a horse come over the top of them late. And, I mean, who else but Panito? Won very nicely as my best bet a couple of weeks ago. Fantastic run. Got wide, but still ran them all down with ease and looked like she'd only get better with further. Jumps 300 metres here. J-Max sticks. And, I mean, he's going to want a big day. He's going to be getting warmed up here. He's going to get the elbows out. They'll have to be wide because of the wide barrier, but, I mean, she was able to do it before. She can do it again here. I think J-Max should put her in the right spot, and she should absolutely fly home at $2.60.
Yep, for sure. Literally, word for word. Should win. Star Sophisticated was one that I looked at.
Nailed the Quinella last start. You had Sophisticated at big odds.
Yeah, I'm hoping if it gets real heavy, I might have a play, but Panito looks pretty good still, so I might play Quinella there again.
Fair enough.
Race number 4 here, mates. 1,200 metres. Very interesting one here. I'm going to hop back on Woderton here. Let me explain myself. I think Yes has been disappointing in the last couple of runs. This is no debate the least challenging field he has faced in recent times. Can you agree on that?
I can agree on that.
I just think he can get it done against this field, purely the field that he's playing. I think he'll come out and win this race. I think a lot of people are going to come out and say, look, he's always been this good horse, but he's not racing anyone and I'm not giving him his time for it. But he will win this race because he is versing no one.
If he does win, can we see a stocks
this is what I'm
storm the track?
This is what I'm going to see. Is like people are going to come out and be like, look, you were always wrong, Cashy. Like Woderton was always going to win. And it's like, is this really like a big win for Woderton?
No, it's a listed race, considering he was meant to be this Group 1 dominant horse.
Yeah, so I think this is his class. This is where he's going to win. And I'm pretty confident with it, to be honest. Well,
I mean, you're right. It's one of the easier fields he's seen. You've got Beedman, who's a really good horse, but not from that draw for me, and I hope I don't live to regret it. Same thing with Cafe Florian. Good horse, but not from that draw for me. Woderton was always going to be a no for me. That horse should be going around in benchmark 52s out in Gundagai. I've gone Skyhook. He's classy. I'm on a few favourites today, but I don't back down from that. I mean, favourites have got to win on their day. You just got to find, like I said, Golden Slipper Day. Typically, the cream rises to the top, and I think he is the cream in this scenario. He gets an excellent setup to be able to stalk him, get the elbows out late, get a gap, come home strongest. Tempted form, Tentaris form. That's some of the best form you can get in the country. $4, you got to respect him. I'm all over Skyhawk in this one.
Awesome, mate. We're going to skip all the way to the last of the day, mate.
Yeah, 5 to 9 are in the tip-off.
1,200 meters. This is going to be a bit of a quaddie killer, mate, I'm thinking. Look, I've settled with Mont Supreme. First up was a little disappointing, but I'm hoping can get it done here for this one in the last. If you haven't already lost the quaddie from the slipper, it'll be this race, I'd say. But Catch the Glory was one that I looked really heavily into. Just a bit unsure how it's going to return after a bit of a break. But Catch the Glory will handle the wet well, and so will Mont Supreme. So I'm going to go with Mont Supreme.
Fair enough. I mean, I look at this race, and it's just got to be within the law, doesn't it? Finally draws a barrier. She's got apocalyptic form. She's got Cheerwolf form. She's got Attica form. She's got everything. She finally draws a barrier after all through spring, punters religiously backing her, and then her coming up short time and time again because she was always in the widest barrier. I mean, she finally gets a barrier where she can actually get into the race, and at the price of $13 and $2.35 to place, has she lost a leg? I mean, roughie of the day by far in my mind. She should run really well here, I reckon. Either that or maybe she has lost a leg and she just hasn't come back well.
Fair enough.
Alrighty, mate. The Great Autumn tip-off. I mean, it was a short rundown, but that's because we only had bloody half the card to actually discuss. So let's head over to the tip-off now, mate. No points gathered last week because Savvy Halley didn't run up to scratch. But we've got Caulfield Race 8, the William Reid Stakes, to discuss first off. And is it Jimmy Star or bust for you, mate?
It's a good question. It's a tough one. I really like some of the horses that are actually running around. I think Barraquil, at his best, can be very dangerous. I think Jigsaw as well has been running very well, but you've just got to stay with Jimmy Star, don't you, until he fails. He really got into his rhythm at the back end of his prep in spring, and his first up record is good enough to go with 6 starts, 4 wins, 1 second place, 1 out of the minor placings. But you just got to stick with him. He's one of, if not Australia's best sprinter at the moment.
One of Australia's most consistent horses as well.
I'm surprised he's not under $2 odds. It's $2.35 currently. I'm going to stick with him. I'm going to settle with him. And he's going to be one of the multi-plays for the weekend.
I think the only reason he's not under $2 is the barrier draw and the fact that like Jigsaw comes into this fold being so hot. At a Moonee Valley, I would be sticking well clear of Jimmy Star here out of that first barrier because we know he's probably going to get sucked all the way to the back. And obviously this is traditionally a Moonee Valley race. I would have said, you know what, I'm happy to take him on at that price, considering he'd be all the way at the back and needs to loop him there, which we know is very hard to do. Not as hard to do at Caulfield, a track that is literally his bread and butter. He's been here 6 times. He's won 5 of them. Okay? He should be able to stay in touch with them. Mark Zara is here for this instead of going to Sydney to pick up some beautiful rides up here. Okay? Obviously, Jimmy Star's regular jockey got suspended, and so he said, you know what? I'll take that ride because I think that should be an easy Group 1 for me instead of going up to try and crash J-Max Parade. You just have to stick with him. He might come up just a touch short if he isn't able to loop all of them, but he's the form horse. And considering, Jigsaw's good, but if you're going to take Jigsaw or Jimmy Star at the same weights, you surely have to be going with Jimmy Star. I mean, Tropicus is also pretty good. Angel Capital might finally get his chance here, but yeah, it's got to be Jimmy Star. Just has to be.
If it was Moonee Valley, I would have gone Barraquil, to be honest.
Yeah. I think in this setup, it just has to be Jimmy Star.
100%.
Again, no moral, but I can't see him losing as we go to Rosehill for another one that I don't think is a moral here, considering it's wide open for a six-horse field and a $1.65 favourite because you've got some pretty decent horses making up the field here, mate. Take us through the 6 horses.
You got Eliana, Serdelius, Lindemann, Steffi Mag, Trinity College, and Alla Chance. Okay. Look, it's tough. I'd like to see Eliana win. At that price, I can't have her, personally. I'm also trying to put some points on the board. I'm going to settle with Serdelius. I think was okay coming back from an extended rest. Should be back in his rhythm now. Could be. I think we forget how good this horse was. And if he gets back to his ideal distance, which is awesome for him, 2000 is going to be huge. He can win. So I'm going to go with Serdelius here. And Eliana is going to be a very unlucky horse yet again.
Look, J-Mac was interviewed the other day, and I'm paraphrasing here. I'm pretty sure if I heard it correctly, he'd said like, oh, what's all of these achievements? What do you look back on? Blah, 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 blah. And he said, I'd give it all away if Eliana can get her Group 1 on the weekend, even though she's got one, but obviously hasn't had one in a while because she's been so unlucky. And if Autumn Glow can stay unbeaten. So he's very keen on both those horses. He's going to be doing everything to get those horses over the line. And I mean, Waller loves this race, doesn't he? He wins this race for fun. This is the race that he had Via Sistina come out and debut, and geez, what a good horse she went on to be. This was also a race that he loved with Very Elegant. I mean, Eliana's obviously seed 1. Do I think she wins? I think yes. But can you bet on her on the nose on that price? I say no. Put her in a multi with like another horse you're very confident on if you're really desperate. And then tip-off wise, probably not, because you can get much better points elsewhere. Again, there's only 6 horses, but we get points down to third. So, for instance, if you wanted an Alicante to try and run third, you'd get $21. I don't think it will. That's why I've said it on Trinity College. Call me crazy. I back this not only for a points play, but I actually would not be shocked one bit if it gets up. Because Damien Lane's on it. He's arguably top 2, top 3 jockey in the country. Waller loves this race. Loves to win this race with a Yulong buy, that's for sure. Classy European import. That was really nice first up, despite being 7 lengths off him. Closed off well, and also, just like Serdelius, actually gets to a distance that it likes. So we're probably going to see more of a better side of Trinity College today. $19 to win, $5.50 to place. I'm hoping it just comes third for 5.5 points, and Eliana wins. And I'd rather take the 5 points over the 2.7, but I think Eliana, number 1 seed for me, but I'm very wary of Trinity College. I'm going to have it in the tip-off. And then, Serdelius, again, very wary. I mean, the trifecta's not going to pay a lot, but I reckon I wouldn't be surprised to see those 3 horses beat the trifecta.
Fair enough, mate. Rosehill Guineas, 2,000 metres.
Love this race. I'm always a big Rosehill Guineas guy.
Box of Quinella, get on it now. Autumn Boy, Observer.
You'd have to think.
I'm pretty happy with it, and it'll be one of the bets of the day on Dabble. I've got to stick with Observer. It's another one you got to keep going until he gets it wrong, and he hasn't got it wrong. So $2.60, I think, $2 around that. Autumn Boy's been very good, but it's going to come second again here, in my opinion. But yeah, Quinella play should be the lock Quinella of the day.
I find it strange that Attica's not here, because Attica would have been the only horse to threaten these horses, and now it's $61 in the George Ryder to try and knock off Autumn Glow, which I just don't think happens. Federalists could be the only one to play spoiler here. It almost knocked off 60s last week at a big price. I said it was the roughie of the day, and I wouldn't have been complaining if I got it up. Very similar here. I would say that it's probably the horse to go in your trifecta and could be the only one to split these horses or even upset them. But I think Observer over Autumn Boy, $2.60 compared to $2.20. Very surprised at that odd differential. I would have had it reversed. Observer's been here, done that with this distance.
100%.
Autumn Boy, it's a question whether he can get the distance. breeding says yes, so that's not an issue. I mean, the way he runs says yes, so that's not an issue. The fact that it's Waller on grand final day also says yes. But considering for runs on the board, which we here at the Mock Sports love compared to potential, I'm just shocked to see Observer not the firm favourite at $2.20 compared to an Autumn Boy $2.60. So yeah, Observer for me as well. I think it just wins, and I think it's going to be a fantastic fight to the finish. But I think much like the fight to the finish in the Guineas earlier in the autumn, Observer just toughs it out because I think he has that motor. I think he is the best 3-year-old in the country motor-wise. He just sustains such a high speed for such a long time. I just don't think Autumn Boy is going to be able to keep up with him late.
100%. Race number 7, mate. George Ryder, 1500, Autumn Glow, multi-filler. That's your lock. You can build around that. Now we are picking for second and third, mate.
There's a lot of bookies that have a favourite out market because they're just not even bothering anymore. Just like Winks days where they said, okay, let's bet for who's going to come second. And it honestly is a great race for second, mate. Gringotts, Pericles, Evaporate, Headley Grange, Yorkshire, Linebacker, NCAP, Shenandoah, Baywalk, Attica, and Nepotism. You could make a case for about, I would say, 9 of those 11 horses that I just mentioned. Who have you got and why coming second?
I've got Pericles. Very nice down in Melbourne first up. I think beats pretty much everyone else in the field here. Is the second best horse in the race, in my opinion. Lady Shenandoah is one that I think will get a place, but I think Pericles just a bit of a better price for me to back. Lady Shenandoah, very unlucky horse as well, running around, but far from what we thought she was going to be. But Pericles can get it done. The only way Autumn Glow loses if she loses a leg, gets boxed in,
Or they
which
knock
I
her over.
don't see happening at all. I also think a bit in the turf helps her, really.
Yeah, genuinely does.
So, yeah, pretty happy with that. Pericles for second place.
I mean, does the tie come here or does the break come here? Or does he... Is this just another one? Does he go bang, bang, bang with Aliana, Autumn Boy, and Autumn Glow? I mean, we haven't tipped it, but it's certainly possible. I mean, again, she's just got to win, doesn't she? You've just got to take her on face value. She's the best horse in the country. To be beaten, you'd have to think J-Mac has to fall off. They have to knock her over, or they got to box her in. I mean, she is such a star. 7th Barrag gives him so many options as well. He can sit one back the lead. He can go back to the midfield. He can sit in the box. He can get the elbows out late, or he can push forward. She's such a versatile horse like that. I think we can comfortably say now the best we've had since Winks, and that beats Very Elegant as well, as hard as that is to say. But she's better than Very Elegant. She's better than Fangirl. She's better than Animo. She's the best we've had since Winks, and I think the unbeaten record just keeps going, and I feel like if she somehow gets beat, fuck, the vibes will be so low at track. Like, I want to hear that roar as she goes across the line and everyone's gotten up on her, or just everyone's cheering for the fact that she's gotten up. If she gets beat, you could hear a pin drop in that race course, I reckon. And I've been there on Super Day for some big roars. When Animo got up in the George Ryder by a lip, that was a huge roar. You know, when Very Elegant got up again, that was a big roar. When Via Sistina got up, big roar. And I think we're going to get another one where you're going to be able to hear them from down the road. I live about 2 kilometres from Rosehill. I reckon you'd be able to hear them from my house when Autumn Glow gets up. I'm very much so looking forward to it. But Evaporate comes second in my mind. Likes the distance, likes the track conditions. Perfectly placed here to run second in another good race here, as Evaporate has tended to do. Okay, he seems to be the new Fangirl-esque of just running into one better every time he goes to the races, and I think it happens again here, and I'll happily take 3.1 points for an Evaporate. As we move to race 9, mate, because obviously we're going runner by runner for the slipper, the Galaxy. How do you see that playing out?
It's tough. I think I would have had Briasa pretty much instantly if it was dry. I think the wet really doesn't help him. Grafter Burners at 50 kilos will be nice, but like we said in the past, for a sprint, it's not the be-all, end-all, but absolutely flying, coming down from Queensland. And there's a couple of horses that are double booked here. I think Beedman will probably run here for a Group 1 chance. Draws the same barrier as
It's got to get a scratching
earlier.
though. Got to get a scratching, yeah.
I think it probably will. Mahuna comes. There's a couple of different ones. I'm going to settle with Briasa. I think he can get it done. I think he's the best horse in the race. It's just the track conditions that are going to really struggle for him, but he's got good form to go off. I know he hasn't been at his best, but we can get him there, I think.
Yeah, good race. It's probably going to get downgraded from a Group 1 in the next couple of years. So hats off to whoever wins this, and probably next year, mate, might just squeak in if they don't change it already. But yeah, I've set it on Mahuna, $15 to win, $3.75 to place. I was on it last year in the slipper, and it got the job done. I can see it winning here. Loves the distance, loves the track conditions, and should find the right part of the track, I think, late. It's drawn a nice barrier there in 10 that McAvoy, again, can be versatile with it, can push forward or can take a sit. And, yeah, should be really strong late. Like, I mean, unreal run, almost beating Generosity last start. And, I mean, also has a bit of Tentaris form, so I'm happy to stick with it there at a big price. Mahuna for me.
All right, mate. Let's get straight into the slipper. Runner by runner, we're going to go through contender from pretender, except for the emergencies. We won't be going through them because very unlikely anyone's going to get scratched for this because they're all ready to go.
And also not much of a chance if they do get scratched. Do you have a graphic for the slipper field?
I do not, but we have the speed map where we can go through the field as well, mate. So I will show.
Maybe just get us up regularly for now, because I'm just going to go through the stats and facts, and then we'll hit the speed map. So if you're looking for a slipper winner here, punters, these are sort of the trends you need to look at. Only 5 of the last 18 favourites have won the race. Fillies have been real hot lately. They've won 9 of the last 15. The last 16 winners have run at a minimum of top 2 in their final lead-up race. Only 1 of the last 25 winners have been an interstate raider, not having their final lead-up race in Sydney. Only 3 of the last 25 winners won off a 1-week backup. 21 of the last 24 Golden Slipper winners have found the rail in run. So whether they've been up on speed or at the back of the pack, they've been near the rail at some point before going on to win. And then in the last 30 years, Barrier 1 has produced the winner 8 times, by far the most, with the inside 5 gates winning 14 times of the last 30 years, and the inside 10 winning 19 times. So you need to sort of be as close to the rail as possible, as history dictates. So shall we go through the speed map now?
Yeah, mate. Let's have a quick look.
There's your speed map that just should have popped up for you guys. All right. You got Paradoxium and Closer to Free pushing forward there. Paradoxium from that wide barrier. I mean, the barrier sort of threw everything into whack with this race. The fact that, like, so many horses that have the speed got drawn out, we're guaranteed to have a really hot tempo. So Closer to Free and Paradoxium are probably going to be your ones that really push forward there. Pembury, War Woven, Music Time, Spicy Mist, they're not going to be far away. They might also end up in the lead as well. Those are all those real speed horses, but most of them, like I said, drawn out. So we're guaranteed a hot pace, because they're going to have to burn petrol, get to the front, and they're going to be going real hard to try and keep up that pace. Stretton Ruler, Streisand, Sheiky, and Fireball will be sitting behind them. Cheyenne, Guesthouse, Campion d'Italia to probably sit at the top of the midfield, and then out towards the back will be Incognito, Zambales, and Hydrix. It's an interesting one, mate. Thanks to the weather, thanks to the barrier draw, an already hard race has become impossible. Run it 20 times over, you get 20 different winners. I've had to be really, really strict with who I've said contender and pretender, because I could say contender for probably 14 of the 16 horses. I could probably only say a definite no to a couple of them. But like I said, I mean, it's going to be whoever rocks up ready to go on the day, and it's going to be a bit of luck. We don't know how wet it's going to be. We don't know where the horses are going to get to, because of the fact that, like, all of the top chances got drawn the absolute car park. It's a really, really interesting race. Anything that you want to touch on before we go into the runners?
I'm ready to go straight through it.
All right,
mate.
hit us with Fireball, mate.
Number
J-Max runner.
1, Fireball. I'm going with contender. Cannot rule James McDonald out of a Group 1. Bit disappointing last start, but the starts prior to that were pretty good wins for me. $17 is a good price to have. Contender.
Yeah, look, I've gone contender purely because it's J-Mac. And J-Mac's going to be on one on the weekend, and it's also grand final Waller. The thing is, I didn't love his last start. And also, J-Mac sticks with him, quote unquote, but I think this was actually more of a case of it was who was left. Because I think he'd probably prefer to be on one of Waller's other runners, in a Campion d'Italia, but I think he gave that ride up thinking he was going to be able to qualify on Central Europe. That didn't happen. And he doesn't want to ride the fillies because he doesn't want to have to waste down to 54.5 kilos. On a regular day, he probably would. But when he has so many big rides, he just wants to ride whatever the hell he wants to ride. So he wants a boy. And Fireball seems to have been the only one left for him. But the fact that he needs to improve greatly probably comes here. The fact that he'll be peaking fitness-wise, Waller Grand Final, J-Mac Grand Final. You could certainly make worse cases for horses in this race. So I have to say contender. Closer to free, Jamie Mellum rides for the barrier of 17. $9 to win, $3 to place.
Pretender, I think outside barrier is very unlucky for this horse who would have been a contender in my eyes. Just don't think he can get it done from that spot. Very unlucky. Very unlucky.
Yeah, I've got a stat here. It's very hard to win from out there. Comes into barrier 14 after the emergencies come out, but 14 has 3 wins in the last 30 years. So, I mean, not the worst hit rate at 10%. But, I mean, yeah, do what you will with that barrier. It's very hard to get it done.
Pretender?
Oh, well, yeah, I've got Pretender, mate, as well. I just think he'll get there because there isn't much speed. But how much petrol does it take him to get there? I reckon he looks the winner at the turn, then fades in the critical moment. Place at best, so I've had to say Pretender. As we move to Guest House, mate, Zachy Lloyd gets a good chance here, mate, for the Kenton Price camp out of barrier 10. Contender or Pretender for you?
I'm going contender. I think this is one of the better chances out of Melbourne. Good price as well. Zach Lloyd will be licking his lips. I reckon he's got an aggressive ride style that'll be very good for a 2-year-old race where you need to take some risks. And he's got no fear in the way he rides. And he's a good chance here. Guest House is a contender for sure.
Yeah, I've got him as a contender. He's another one that has looked stronger and stronger with every run. He looks like he's got a hell of an engine. Arguably, he should have been the winner of the Diamond, and the Diamond form has arguably been better than the Sydney form. Just needs to avoid traffic, but like you said, Lloyd will get the elbows out if he needs to. The only thing with this horse is, guys, you need to consider is he has a really weird setup. Debut, then a 6-week break, had another run, a 2-week break, had another run, and then 4-week break into this. So he's a bit all over the shop, but I think he is probably one of the best, if not the best chance out of Melbourne. As we move to the horse I think everyone is going to have their 2 cents on this weekend, War Woven for Rachel King and Bjorn Baker, was the number 1 contender until he drew barrier 14. Pretender or contender, mate?
Contender. I think it's a good price as well. 1 week backup is a bit of a concern because you never know if 2-year-olds can handle such a short break. Bounced back really well, I think, after a disappointing run at the start earlier, but looked pretty comfortable last weekend. Pretty happy with it. $9 a price that I can take, and it's a contender for me.
I ummed and ahed with this horse for about 20 minutes last night. Like, that's no exaggeration. I just kept looking at it and going, what am I going to do here? Because when we do these runner by runners, I've cursed Knight's Choice. I've cursed oh my God, it's the Melbourne Cup winner. I've got a brain fade now. Half Yours. You know, I look like an idiot every time I do one of these. And I was like, am I brave enough to say Pretender? And I've set her on a very unconfident Pretender. Barrier 12 after scratchings. And that's had 1 win in 30 years. Doesn't have amazing wet form, but I mean, none of them really do. Won't likely get to the traditional spot for winners, so will need a lot of luck. However, has a winning pedigree, and there's just so much 50-50 with this guy. I think he's going to be in the finish, but I don't think he gets his nose over the line. I think he's the Woderton of the year. I think he's the Cool and Gatter of the year, the Cylinder, the Animo. You could go on and on. I think he's the boom horse that just falls short. So I'm going to very tentatively say Pretender.
Paradoxium.
Yeah, interesting one, mate.
Was a top chance for me coming in and was really hoping to back him, but has drawn the absolute car park.
Yep.
Probably the worst spot for him.
15 after scratchings, which is just not ideal.
Yeah, so I'm going to go Pretender, unfortunately, purely based off that. If it gets inside, I think would have gone close to winning. Very unlucky. Ran very nicely last start in front of Stretton Ruler. Pretender, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's the same with me, mate. The barrier is the death of him here, I think. He'll have to work really hard to get up on the pace. And will he have the engine to stay with them under such a high-pressure, fast-tempo situation? He's second up off a soft win. I reckon there's a big question mark around his fitness. Again, if he drew inside, probably one of the top chances. I just think his tank gives out late thanks to the wide barrier, placing at best. Another very tentative Pretender here as we move to Stretton Ruler.
Interesting one here, mate. This will be one of the very few left that I have as a contender. Good chance, I think. The barrier is another concern, but you can't just back the inside the whole time. I think this is one of the better chances that has got a little bit out wide. Decent form to go off, I think. Coming up to Sydney, I thought it's done pretty well. When it came up, I didn't think it really had much of a chance, but it's changed my mind in the way it's run in Sydney, and it ran well last start at the distance as well behind Paradoxium. Just gets the barrier a bit better, where if I was going to go for Paradoxium, Stretton Ruler is not one to go far behind. Contender.
That's fair enough, mate. I mean, look, he likely gets trapped wide with not a lot of cover, which will make things really tough for him in the later stages. But if it's really wet, that whole, you need to be near the rail could go out the window. It might be the wider the better on the day. So these wide barriers could completely get negated and maybe wall over him and Paradoxium just piss it in. And maybe the Stretton Rulers don't have to worry about it as well. But, I mean, he's got the Todman form. History says he'll at least run well here, so don't leave him out of your first four. I reckon he won't get the chockies, though. Again, like I said, I've had to be really strict. I could say contender for the whole field, but that's no fun. As we move to Zambalis, Nash rides for the Freedmans out of barrier 6.
Look, it's a tough one. I'm going to go with Pretender. I think decent form down in Melbourne. Just not the best chance out of it. Didn't look great, and it's jumped up to the 14 and then coming back down to the 12. I'm not too sure how that form will kind of go.
Yeah, I'm exactly right, mate. He's still a maiden. History says you don't break in the slipper, and I've never loved the horses that go 1,400 back to 1,200 metres. He's probably one of those horses you want to look for, a Sires or a Champagne, and I prefer the horses that stick to that rather than trying to come here for a little bit of a slipper run. And also will probably struggle to find clear lanes to the line anyways. So, yeah, Pretender. Number 8, Music Time. Bood Villain rides, and Vela trains out of Canberra. Boy, it would be the biggest story in racing if it gets up. Do you have it as a Pretender or a contender?
I've got it as a Pretender. Canberra form's not enough for me. I think, to be fair, if it's going to win any Group 1 out of Canberra, it'll be a 2-year-old race and it'll be the slipper. But I just think there's better chances in the race, and I think it's a Pretender. $41.
Yeah, it's in great form. It's been winning like no tomorrow, but what's it really beaten down in Canberra? History says nothing. So the Black Opal winners never really do well on the big day, and I don't think it does again. But like I said, would be a massive story if it got up. Only bought for $40 grand. So if it came out and win this, the owners would be very, very happy. We come to number 9, Campione d'Italia. Damien Lane rides for Chris Waller out of barrier 4.
Has bounced back very well. Got written off pretty much straight away after coming first up at Randwick. And then $41 winner. Won very nicely. And you could almost say this horse is back in terms of, I know it wasn't out for very long, but I'd almost forgive that first run and pretend it's gone in off one run. I'm going contender. I think it's a good chance. Damien Lane as well. Great jockey, can get it done. inside barrier is a great place to be. Can find the fence nicely, and it's going to be real tough, and I will not be leaving this horse out of my exotics, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm keen on him. Drawn perfect, gets a gun jockey. It's grand final day for the best trainer in the country. Was all the rage during those trials, and I'm spewing. I didn't have a couple bucks on it at a massive price. I know a fair few people who have him at hundreds, 80s, 50s. But I am glad that he comes here with at least a pretty good price that I could still have a bet on. If he'd come here and he was like a $4 favourite, I would have been spewing. But like you said, first up, dropped out of contention straight away. Did have health excuses, and J-Mac and Waller were saying, nah, that's not him. He's a better horse. Showed that second up in a big way. My goodness me. So the hype is back. The big question is, can Lane get to the gaps at the right time? And can it handle a really wet deck if we get that? I say yes on both accounts. I'm keen to see how it goes here. Definite contender in mine, if not top contender, at a big price. Number 10, Waller has another horse here in Hydrix, and Karen McAvoy gets the ride here and can potentially get back into the Group 1 fold off a big injury.
Pretender for me, draws the inside, and it's great barrier as history shows, as you said, but hasn't had great form coming into this race. Waller's trying to get a bit more prize money, as you would. You wouldn't say no to a runner in the slipper field. Can't see it winning. Would be surprised if it gets in the placings.
It's going to get too far back, in my mind. Probably get shifted all the way to the back, unless it's really wet and they have to spread really wide. Probably doesn't get a lane to the line, or has to go around them all, which history says you need to be a very, 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 very good horse to do so, and I don't think he is that good. But I mean, hey, grey in the grey, as they say, if you're an Omen punter. I know there'll be a few people on him for that reason. Number 11, Incognito.
To the point, Pretender, not great form going into it. Outside barrier, not great. $41. Gonna stay away from it.
I was very keen to have him as the best roughie in the race until the barrier. Should get sucked too far back, similar to Hydrix. Streisand, my Blue Diamond winner, the reason I'm so far up in the tipping comp, comes here at $8 now out of barrier 11. Benny Mellum sticks. What are your thoughts?
Great chance, contender. We'll come into what, 8th barrier or so, 9th barrier?
I believe 9th barrier after scratching.
Top chance out of Melbourne. Blue Diamonds, decent form enough to go off. $8.50. I'm surprised it didn't start at favourite, to be honest.
Yeah, considering how good the Melbourne form has been, yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, contender.
She's drawn wide, but with the lack of speed drawn inside of her, she should lob into a pretty advantageous position. And unlike Paradoxium, who I had the big question mark on, can his tank survive that high pressure from out that position? Streisand has actually shown us she can, because that's exactly what she did in the Blue Diamond. She was up, on pace, wide, no cover for the majority of that race, and just gutted it out. So if she's not smashed from that, she will be right in the thick of things late here, I reckon, no matter what the conditions are. Streisand is a big contender as we go to Spicy Miss. Craig Newitt rides out of barrier 5.
Look, bit of a bad one here, maybe, if you think, but I'm going with Pretender. I think the shortest price horse I'm going for in the race as a Pretender. I just don't love it. I think there's better chances. I know it's got a decent barrier. I just think it won't be able to handle the pressure as well as a lot of other horses will be able to do. So Spicy Miss is a Pretender for me.
I've got it as a contender because, I mean, proven at the distance, tick. Proven in the dry and wet, tick. Solid runs against boys and girls, tick. Will be up on pace and on the rails, tick. Comes through the sweet embrace, which typically produces strong runs, tick. So all signs are pointing to a strong run here. We know how much I love history, especially in a race like this. Wouldn't leave it out of the exotics, that's for sure. As we move to the $5.50 favourite of the field, Cheyenne. Craig Williams picks up the ride after J-Mac jumped off for the Archibalds. What are your thoughts?
Contender. Horse won very nicely by a couple of lengths last start. Craig Williams can get it done on the big day. Surprised it's favourite, really. I would have had Streisand as my favourite, but I just personally I won't be betting on it at that price. Will be in my exotics, but contender.
Yeah, look, she's improved with every run. Runner up to Streisand on debut, then luckless in the Blue Diamond, bounce back in the Riesling, and history says Riesling winners usually go on to do pretty well in this race. most of the place getters in the last few years have come from the Todman and the Riesling. So like I said, if you like that history, you're all over her. J-Mac out, but Williams is a pretty good replacement. So has the class to win, just got to do it on the day. Again, I probably wouldn't be betting on her. I don't have her as my top contender, but she certainly is a contender. As we move to Sheiky.
Pretender. Gonna leave it at that.
I mean, look, even with the star trainers, I think this is one of the few horses in the field that I would actually be pretty surprised if it got up. Only time it's ever raced well was when it was against girls only. And again, you need to be doing a lot better than that to win a Golden Slipper.
Kay would be very disappointed with her year for 2-year-olds this year. She's usually well known for the way that she goes about it, and this year's been her worst year
In a
I've
while.
seen. So
I think she would be pretty disappointed that Agrarian Girl couldn't get a start because I think Agrarian Girl's probably would have been her best chance and probably best 2-year-old. And the fact that it won't get a start now, she's probably praying that someone scratches because Agrarian Girl probably the only one that could have had a chance, but then has the shift barrier, draws the car park. And I mean, also weird to see Tim Clark not in a Golden Slipper.
yeah,
Very, very weird. And then, I mean, Pembury, mate. What are your thoughts?
no jockey as of yet.
Big red flag. Massive red flag.
Always is. Pretender. I think is actually a decent horse going into it, but barrier is unlucky. I think honestly, if she drew better, she'd be a better chance, but I just don't see her winning from there.
I'm just going to check if Racing New South Wales has updated it and everyone else hasn't. If there is still no jockey declared for this horse, that
2
is
days
a
out.
huge red flag. Shouldn't you be having people jumping at the bit to get on this horse? No, still no jockey. So, wow, big red flag. Maybe that means it's coming out and Gay does get that start with Agrarian Girl. But then again, the only emergers that probably had a chance before the barrier draw. It's not getting the barrier, not getting the win from out there, I don't think. But I also think wouldn't have gotten a win here, Pembury, with a good draw. We all know that I think it's very overrated. And only won last week because J-Mac was on his bullshit. Or last start, sorry. But yeah, emergencies, they're unlikely to get a start. Do you think any of them would have any chance if they do get a start?
No.
Like I said, I think Agrarian Girl was the only one I could have actually made a case for, but drew the absolute car park.
All right, mate. Let's move through here. We're going around.
Who's your winner?
Oh, I haven't even done that, have I? I've settled with War Woven. Pretty happy with the way it went. $9 is the price I can have. My first 4 over the line is going to be War Woven, Streisand, Campione d'Italia, and then I've gone with a Stretton Ruler to hit 4th.
Nice. My winner's Campione d'Italia. I just look, and I mean, I've tipped a couple slipper winners, so it's one of the races that I usually go into a bit of confidence with, but no confidence whatsoever with this one because, like I said, run it 20 times, you're gonna have 20 different results, and I just hope on the day that Campione d'Italia comes here with its best form, D-Lane is able to get those elbows out, get it through those gaps, up the fence probably is where it's going to come from. Grand final day, Waller. All signs point to a pretty strong run from Campione d'Italia. My top 4 is Campione, Guesthouse 2nd, War Woven 3rd, Cheyenne 4th. I think another one that I think, and maybe Paradoxium as a narrow 5th. I think honestly 4th through 8th, if not even more than that, is going to be a real blanket finish in this race. I don't really see anyone just dominating here and stretching out the field. That's for sure. So let's go around the grounds now, mate, quickly, and we'll get through the quaddie and the best bets.
Caulfield race 4, got a good feeling. $1.60, I've got a good feeling about it.
Nice.
Will be one of the legs in one of these multis I'm playing. Also, race number 1, Immortal Star, at $4.40. Is another one I'm going to go for, and I think there was one. I'll just go Treasure as well. Pretty happy with that race number 7, number 1.
I've got Kaying Cheer in that race with Immortal Star,
Yep.
$3.10. King Zephyr in race 5 at Caulfield. Race 6, Alpha Sophie to bounce back at $4.80. And race 9, Planet Red. I mean, the 60s form, the Observer form, surely just pisses us in at a very short price. One of those ones where I'll be having her in multis. It's no anchor, but certainly a multi-play to be having. I mean, would look at it, get a good feeling, Treasure, Planet Red, Jimmy multi, like a Caulfield multi. Again, not like a big one that you're hammering, but certainly keen to look at it. And then She's a Sort. Could be going around again at Kembla Grange in race 5. We've accepted. We're in barrier 10. We'll see how we go. Richie said he's very adamant that that call is going to come on Saturday morning if she does indeed start. He needs to see how the track is looking, what the barrier situation is like with any other scratchings, and the fact that what the jockey plans are. If she's 110%, in typical Monarch fashion, we are not running unless we are confident that we can put in a good show and win. Jace does not send those horses to the races unless he knows it has a chance of winning.
I don't think she'll run, personally.
Yeah, I also think we'll probably look for a race next week. But I mean, Richie did say it was a sneaky one. We're putting it in just to see what happens. But yeah, I think like that's the best thing about our syndicate, and it's the best thing about Richie. If it does run, we know they're confident it has a chance. There's no we're going around for a jog here in this setup, which is a good thing. Like it gives us a bit more confidence. Like
For sure.
That's what I like about their setup. Alrighty, mate. The Quaddie, we were defeated last week. We couldn't go 6 for 6, but I mean 5 for 5 was a hell of a start. Let's try and go 6 for 7. Jeez. Dicko will love that one, mate. Shout out to you. Race 7 at Rosehill. We've gone Autumn Glow 1 out.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to try and cover other things, you're braver men than we are, and you're also going to get a huge payout if you do so. Race 8, we've covered 6 horses in the slipper. We've gone Cheyenne, Campion d'Italia, Woven, Fireball, Guest House, and Paradoxium. Again, you could go field in that race, and you still might not get the winner somehow. Race 9, Briasa, Grafter Burners, Mahuna Generosity, 138.14. And then we've gone a bit wide in the Quaddie Killer of the last race and Catch the Glory, Monty Supreme, Within the Law, In Karuna, and Dollar Magic, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15. $50 gets you 41%. And I mean, it's going to be a big pool, big payout. There's going to be a lot of value getting up, you'd have to think. Even if all the favourites get up, it'll still be a decent enough payout, you'd have to think, considering the size of the pool that it's going to be. And if you're having one bet around the country, mate, who is it and why? First week ever this season that not one of us got a best bet up last week. Let's try and bounce back in a big way here, mate.
It's tough, man. There's a lot running around. I can be boring, but I won't be. I'm going to go with Panito.
Don't mind that.
Yep, best of the day, good price. Jujukibo, close second.
Yeah, I like that. I would have Jujukibo as my next best, but my best bet of the day is Observer.
Cool.
Bit of a Godolphin vibes with us. It's going to be a Godolphin multi for our best bet multi. Yeah, he's just one of those horses that I just think he is just so consistent. He's so talented. He's so strong. Yes, Autumn Boy might get him, but I think when it comes late, I think it's going to be similar to that Pericles and that Lindemann Rosehill Guineas where they're neck and neck and it'll only be that much in it. But I think Observer's tank will be the telling point late. So yeah, Observer's going to be my best bet. Best roughie within the law around the day. So anything to say to the punters before we go, mate?
Best of luck this weekend. Big weekend of racing. Just be careful. Gamble responsibly as always. It is a good day and there's a lot of money to be won, but there's also a lot of money to be lost. So you just got to be careful on those type of days. Good luck, guys. Good day of racing. If you're getting down, say hi to Cash. If not, just enjoy yourselves.
It's going to be a good day. I'll see you down there, lads.
And back behind those horses, I Am Unstoppable. Osmosis at the clock tower, led by a length to Shinzo, Arkansas Kid, and I Am Unstoppable is running on. The leader, Osmosis, with 50 metres to go. Osmosis is clear and will take it out.